Ah, my dear friends, this is a very special few words today. Let me cut to the chase. It's the activation of the left side, of the side of Gevurah. That's what's left for us to do. The right hand is always activated because we're righty, so to speak, and the society is right-handed. But if you want to become a partner, well, right-handed, you're going to shake hands with the right hand. And school, they have you do everything right-handed. And lefty is a pejorative term. Everyone knows this. And let's see how and that's what our role is here. Our role is here to activate the left hand and to balance this left hand off with the right hand. That is our active role. That's what our tikkun olam. Everybody wants to do tikkun olam. You know? Oh, they're here to tikkun olam, make the world a better place. Well, to do that, balance off your left hand with your right hand. First, make your left hand equal to your right hand, and then talk to me about tikkun olam. You know? In the 10 Sephirot, which I can't, everything comes out backwards here, so the first one is Keter, but we're going to do the ones of the right pillar and left pillar, and show you how they're balanced off. You know, the first one is Chokmah and Bina, or Abba and Ima, and Chokmah and Bina are always together. They're always together. That's the upper world. Chokmah and Bina are always together. And then down here, where we have Netzach and Hod, these other two horizontals, besides the middle one, the horizontals, those are Netzach and Hod, the right foot and the left foot. And when you go for a walk, they're always together. You know, this is below the level of consciousness, which is Das there. It's below the level of consciousness. It's in the animal soul. And the left foot and the right foot always go together. When you run or something, I mean, this isn't like hands, where you write with one hand. The feet are not developed like the hands. And they always go together. Another thing that always goes together is Keter and Das. Keter and Das kind of never appear at the same time. So they're unified. They always go together, so to speak. You see? And then I'm going to show you other things before we even get to, this is going to be long-winded, I guess. So you might as well shut it off now. Tiferet and Yesod, those go together too. Tiferet is considered the internal aspects, and Yesod, as the genitalia, is the external aspects. You see? And how this goes about, one of the ways I do it is that Tiferet, I take the two tovs, and that's the way they show it in like Rosh Tivo of Tiferet. Tov, that's 800, plus the 80 of Yesod, that's 880, plus the 6 letters of Tov, and the 4 of Yesod, that's 886. And that's the number of the 3 names of Elohim. fully spelt out as 300, 295, and 291. So Yesod and Tiferet go together that way. The other thing that goes together is Keter and Malchus. If you've ever heard Keter Malchus. Keter Malchus is the thing that we drive at. It's the crowning of Keter by Malchus. That's why they call it Keter Malchus. It's when Keter comes back and crowns Malchus, when the feminine crowns the masculine. The gematria of that is 1,116, which just so happens to be the gematria of my brother Shimon, who has given me all this. That's why today is so special. But if you add 2 for Keter, 1, Malchus 1, plus the 1,116, that's 1,118, and that just so happens to be the full gematria of the phrase of the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, which is the phrase and the most important phrase in Judaism. And that is Keter Malchus, which makes it the most important phrase in Judaism. Now we get to what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how we balance off Hesed and Gevurah. Hesed is the right hand. Gevurah is the left hand. Gevurah is an entrance to the Sitra Akra. It's an entrance to the side of evil. It's entrance to Gevurah, the left. You know? The untouchables. Everything with the left, is bad, so to speak. Well, the interesting thing about the Hesed and Gevurah is that Hesed is 72. 72 is the name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei spelt out in full. One should know that. Gevurah is 216, which is 3 times 72. 3 times 72, it has a relation to the 72 name. As 3 times. The 2 of these go together and make 288. 288 are the fallen sparks from the world of Tohu that's in the 2nd verse of the Torah. When they said God Maharafat or something. So you take not the Mem and you don't take the Tav, which are the 2 external letters, but the Ra Hafat, that's 288. So how'd they get these 288? How'd they get these 288 fallen sparks? It's from the 72 of Hesed and the 216 of Gevurah. And that's 288. And that's 4 times the 72 name. And how is this 3 times found in of Gevurah? It's actually in Hesed in its vowel. The vowel is a segul, and you know how a segul is made. A segul is made 3 dots. Boom, boom, boom. And each of these dots is 72. And 72 times 3 is 216. And that's how the Gevurah is found within the Hesed in its vowel. And the relationship from Hesed to Gevurah is 3 times that of Hesed. The intensity is 3 times as great, and it is too intense. That's why it helped break the vessels. But in general, it's too intense because we don't want to do the negative. We don't want to balance off that left hand. We want to avoid it. We think we're supposed to be only right-handed, but everything else in the body, in the tensiphirot, is balanced off, as I expressed. But this Gevurah here, these hands, they're not balanced off. Nobody, except these weirdos who are bi-handed, ambidextrous, uses the 2-hand function. And that's what it's up to man to do. Don't tell me about your completeness unless you have a left hand that's usable. Usable. I'm not asking you to be as good as the right, but let's not avoid it. Oh, I can't do that. I'm left-handed. How about writing with the left hand? The great secret of Leonardo da Vinci and of the great surgeons. Leonardo da Vinci was ambidextrous. So when there was a corner of the Christine Chapel, that he did miraculously well. If there's a corner over there that couldn't be accessed like this, he just reached up like this and drew. Same thing with doctors. Instead of trying to get the lung over here and still hold the heart, they just went like this. See? The best doctors are ambidextrous. Surgeons I'm talking about, because quite frankly, there is no other doctor than a surgeon. You mean to set your leg? Get a nurse to set your leg. If you break your finger, nurse can tape it up. But there are certain functions that a doctor is good for. Surgeon, that's a doctor. And learn your own self-ambidexterity, and this awakens the Gevurah. This awakens the Gevurah within you. I think I may call this that. Awaken the Gevurah within you. That's your personal potentiality. To balance off Gevurah with Hesed. And that's the secret of the 288 sparks. But we're 3 times underneath. We have work to do 3 times. We do the 72, but not the 216, because it's Gevurah. It's the left. So this is a strange tape for me because I'm impassioning you. You see? To awaken the Gevurah within you. And until you do that, you're kidding. You're fooling. You're in purity. You're in Hesed. You're in the clean, but not the dirty. You're in the light, but not the dark. You're in the pure, in godliness. But not in the sink. You're in the well, but not in the pit. You know, the water is running. You know. So that's the story here. Open up to the dark, to the left, to the negative. That's our role. Chokmah and Bina are always together. That's father and mother. Netzach and Hod, the other linear horizontal, basically always together too, beyond our level of consciousness. It's in the animal soul. It's not our level to develop. Our legs, you know, we don't type with our legs or play piano with our toes. But we walk with them, and people don't even know if you're walking with the left foot, the right foot. I mean, they go. You run, you do marathons. Well, I'm asking you to do something with your hands, to develop yourself. Left-handed. Handball players know this. So do piano players. There's no piano players that just play with their right hand. It's almost, he's a right-handed piano player. Oh, he wouldn't touch it with his left hand. That's evil. It's part of, I'm going to put that part of a stand-up humor. There's a couple other things I just want to put down here for myself. You can shut this off if you want, if you've listened this long. A couple of the other things I'm putting in for myself, because it's associated with that, is the word interferet itself. The center word would be, if you take out the tov and the tov, so we have pei, aleph, resh. And if you do the gematria of that, that's 281. But if you do the full gematria, it comes out to be 702. 702 is Shabbat. So the internal aspects here of this word, if you take away the first and last letter, which is used as tov, the internal aspects of Tiferet, Shabbat, it's also Ben. 702 is bet with a final nun. It's how they get the Son of God. Tiferet, the internal aspects is 702 Shabbat. It's also the three letters of Rapha. If you put change the letters a little bit. Rapha means to heal. So the great secret, when we're talking about healing without doctors, what I call doctors without borders, the real cures, it's Rapha, which means cure. The other letters there mean scope. They mean crown. If you do pei, aleph, resh, those are the three regular. That means crown, actually. Turban or crown, which is interesting. But using these internals and externals of like large lettered words. The same thing is meraf, hovers over the deep. You take the mem out and you take the tov out, and that's how you get the 288 in the middle, when God hovered over the face of the water. So there's a parallel here about using the three internal letters of hovering over the face of the water and the word Tiferet. So today has to do about the tree of life, you see. And the tree of life is you. So when you're studying this thing in this esoteric form, you're studying your own body. People don't think that Judaism or Kabbalah is a yoga. You're studying your own body. We haven't even gotten into the breath yet. But if you were really studying your own body, you see, we get into some deep things here. And something that, again, is for me, that the I, the ani, the I, is attached to the physical body. The ayin, which is the ani with the changed letters, is attached to the godly soul. So the ani is attached to the animal soul, and the ayin is attached to the godly soul. And so we wouldn't be holding on so much to the animal soul, because that's ego. I, me. When we change that into an ayin, we see that this is one of our pastimes, lifetimes, living. It's one way to do things. But it's not the only way. Now, I've been very long-winded. I do not expect anybody to listen to the whole thing. And this was done because when I woke up, I like to do this like that orally rather than write it down. And I was very long-winded here and didn't even devote as much time to what I really want to say about the idea of the Gevurah and the left hand as 3 times the intensity of the Hesed. And that it's up to us to awaken the Gevurah within us. And when we do that, that'll be Tikkun Olam. So basically it's the left side, the side of negation. If everything is light and positive, the other side is dark and negative. And until we approach this, we're only fooling.